G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're at Splashback Reef. It's one of our best tanks, it's massive, it's really decked out with some special equipment, but it's not doing as well as we would like, and that's why we haven't shown you this tank in quite some time. Today we're going to turn the corner. We're going to make a couple of changes to the filtration and the dosing system that's going to make all of the difference. So we'll go downstairs and have a look at that. But first of all, welcome to Splashback Reef. We are in the filter room of Splashback Reef. Now basically we have an 8-foot sump. The water drains down into this section of the sump before moving through the protein skimmer section. We've got a big Deltec which is doing a great job. Now we have a scoria system here which is aerated from underneath, and this is the heart of our biological filtration. Now the second big change that we will have made to this system is that we have set up a refugium. One of the things I typically notice with tanks that don't run refugiums is that they just tend to struggle a little bit more than a tank with a really good, well-functioning refugium. So we've put our prime light on. We've just put a little bit of Ketomorph to get it started, but this is one of the big changes that we'll have made to the system. But the first big change that we're going to be doing today is the dosing. Look at this mess. So we have a mix of dosing pumps. We have a Vertex from probably 10 years ago. We have an Apex DOS, and we also have a Kumoa 3-channel master. Now at the moment we're really just using the DOS and the Vertex, and this is what we're going to clean up today. We've got a mix of supplements. We've got calcium, KH and magnesium, and they're all going in at different amounts. And we have noticed with ICP tests that we've had a bit of a problem with low iodine, so we've put iodine on the doser. We've also had low potassium, so we've put that on. We've basically been reacting to issues that we've had rather than having a well designed and well thought out dosing system. So today we're going to put Triton on this system, and it's going to make a massive difference. So interestingly, with most of the dosing pumps that I set up with a lot of the brands of supplements on the market, I'll almost always go calcium as number 1, carbonate hardness number 2, and magnesium number 3. But this tank has been set up with a dosing system which is actually calcium number 1, magnesium number 2, and KH number 3. And the reason why I find this interesting is because this was set up years ago, and this is actually the way that Triton order their supplements. 1 is calcium, 2 magnesium, and 3A and 3B are carbonate hardness. So this is actually quite convenient because it means that I'm not going to have to flush the lines. You need to flush the lines if you're changing the type of supplement. If you're going from calcium to carbonate hardness on a dosing head, you need to flush it with RO first so that you don't have the two reacting and precipitating and clogging up the dosing head. So it's going to be very easy today. I'm going to take out the dosing supplements that are on here, and we're going to replace it with Triton, and Triton's going to be everything that we need for this system. We're also going to improve the way that the dosing lines feed into the sump. This is an acrylic lid, so we're going to drill 3 holes, and the tubing from our Vertex is going to feed straight into the holes in the top here. We probably won't do that today, but the reason for that is so that we can very easily check to see if the tubes are clogged. At the moment, the tubes go in at the back behind the protein skimmer. It's really difficult to see the ends of the tubes, and a couple of times the KH is actually blocked and we haven't noticed, and we've had a KH drop. So I'm going to start by taking all of these old supplements off the doser. So one thing to consider with the Triton is that it's a 4-part system. 2 of those parts, 3A and 3B, are both elk. Now, if you have a 3-channel doser, you can actually mix your 3A and your 3B together and program the doser so that the 3rd channel with the elk goes in at double the rate of the calcium at 1 and the magnesium at 2. Typically, this is an equal part dosing system. When you're running 4 parts, 4 channels, each part goes in at equal amounts, but when it's a 3-channel, you mix them together and double the amount that the elk is dosed. Now, this is actually a bit of an interesting time because we can show you one of the reasons why the Triton is so good. So this brand of elk was mixed up. We probably mixed it up probably 3 months ago, and we shook it and did everything to get it to be homogeneous. Now I'm going to tip it into the sink and you can see at how poorly it has actually mixed in. So that's all elk, but look at that, there's a chunk, big chunks. It's really difficult to get most of the brands of elk on the market to mix in properly. And you know, that looks to me like money wasted, but more importantly, it makes me doubt the homogeneous nature of the solution, which is an important consideration with your dosing. You want to have each batch exactly the same concentration as the last in between supplement brands. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix the 2 lots of the elk in this container, and then I'm going to put half of it into one of these to put on the shelf. And you'll see when I tip the Triton elk into this vessel just how perfectly mixed in it is. All right. So I'm just going to do it here. 3A goes first. And already I can see to the bottom and I can't see any residue. It's just clear solution all the way down. All right, 3A. Now if you keep an eye on the stream, not a single chunk goes in. That is perfect elk. Even at the end. All right, 3B. Looks the same. This in the sink. Have our 3-channel Triton system set up on this tank. I'm going to program it. Now, the amount that I'm going to program each of the channels is going to be a bit of an educated guess. because the important thing is that we continue to monitor the KH in particular, but also the calcium, magnesium of this tank, so that we can ensure that we're dosing the correct amount. However, I'm going to have a guess at roughly how much to dose. Now, this tank is approximately a 2,000 litre system, and we usually dose around about 2 ml per 100 litres. So a starting point of around about 40 mils for the calcium, 40 mils of magnesium, and 80 mils of the ALK per day is probably going to be close to right. So I'm going to set that on the program now. So calcium program, so we're going to have program, oops, this is not right, let's go back, program, okay. So 40 mils, I reckon we'll have 6 lots, 6 mils, whoops, go back. These touch screens are great, but they can be a little bit sensitive. Program, okay, 6 mils, let's say 7 times per day. I might undershoot it, I might go 6 at 6, 36 mils, and then 36, 72, okay. I always like to go in and double check after I've programmed it, just to make sure it's all right. So what I'm doing now is I'm just venting the lines, which means that it's a manual dose so that I can look at the end of the tubes and ensure that the supplement is coming out. And they're all working, so that's good. Go back to home. Now, there we go. So now we know we have our Triton method set up. We've got our calcium, magnesium and ALK all on the doser, all programmed, ready to go. We don't need to worry about other things to dose. We don't need to worry about trace elements, or the only other things will be going into the tank will be amino acids, fish food and coral food. So this is pretty much the job done. It'll be really interesting to see how the tank improves upstairs. Every tank that we've put onto Triton has done so well, and we really wanted to do a video on a tank before we put it onto Triton so that we can show you how much better it does under this system. But we have done a couple of things. The refugium's the other thing we're going to look at as well. I think we'll see some improvements. There was a little bit of problem algae up in the tank. Hopefully with the refugium we'll get the nutrients down a little bit and take care of that. But let's have one more look at the tank before we head off for the day. So even though this tank isn't doing its best, it is absolutely sensational. It's a really beautiful dimension and position in the house, and it's so long, it's so tall. I'm really looking forward to having this tank at its absolute best, and I think that the Triton system is really going to help with this. So that's our video for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. But this is it for today, job done. So I'm Cam the Fish Guy, happy reefing. That's our video for today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and make sure you've subscribed to our channel so you don't miss an episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy, happy reefing.